Hi sewing friends, welcome to my sewing room. My name is Beth, and if you're new, welcome. Today we're going to make a small project. Let's get started. Here's a really sweet pincushion that I made back in 2010, and I still have some of the scraps that I used for this project. So I thought I'd show you how to make this little pincushion, and I'm going to add just a little bit of a twist on the original. I had already pieced some of these to make some half square triangle type blocks, and they're all different shapes, but I'm going to show you how I put them together. And these are some more scraps left over from this quilt I made a long time ago. I think it's been at least 10 years when I finished this Joseph's Coat quilt that has since been given to my daughter. I just love this beautiful quilt. It was definitely a labor of love, a lot of handwork, hand applique, but I loved the fabrics, and I kept all of the little tiny scraps just because I thought they were so beautiful. I knew that these little leftovers from those curved pieces could be cut into some triangles to make half square triangles. So that's how this little pincushion got its beginnings. And so I need scraps. I'm going to be using this crushed walnut shell mix found at the pet store for the inside of my pincushion. And I also need a little fabric for the back. So to put my half square triangles together, they're different sizes, but I just matched up the points on one side, one corner. I'm going to match up the points, and after I have it sewn together, I will trim. I'm using the smaller half square triangle as my guide, and as long as I have one of those points together, the rest of it will come together nicely too. And I'm not even sure that these are perfectly square, but that's okay. I'm not going to worry about these being square. The other two are much different in size as well, but I'm going to put 2 points together. One of those corners I'm going to match, and I'll add a seam, and then I will trim. After pressing, I took the smaller of those two joined pieces and I used it as my guide, making sure that that corner or that pointed area is not cut off. I wanted to cut off the other side of this little piece, and now I'm going to join them together, and I'll have the center of my pincushion. I worked around that center quilt block with some leftover strips to make this large enough for my pincushion, and my goal is a 5-inch square. After trimming my quilt block, my 5-inch quilt block, I chose a backing fabric, and I will cut the backing fabric the same size as the top of my pincushion. I went all the way around the pincushion with right sides together, leaving about a 2-inch opening to fill it with that crushed walnut shell. And I am going to square the corners, which is a little different than my original pincushion. So I folded the corners just like this, and I'm going to be sewing straight across about a 1/2 inch down from the point or the corner. And I like to find a place on my sewing machine bed there on that silver plate where I can follow, so all of the corners will be the same. So rather than measuring every corner, I just use a line on that sewing machine there, and I use that as my guide. And these, like I said, the corners here are maybe a 1/2 inch away from the corner. After turning it right side out, after trimming those little corners off, I filled my pincushion with the crushed walnut shells using this little funnel. I keep all of this together, and I know it's going to last me a long time. I just keep it all together in my sewing room, so when I'm making my little pincushions, it's all ready to go. Rather than fill the pincushion totally with those crushed walnut shells, I like adding a little bit of batting. I just cut little pieces of batting and I tuck them in there at the end, close to that open area, so that when I close up that seam there, when I do my hand sewing, it's a little bit easier. I don't have those walnut shells falling out, and I don't have to be quite as careful. So I put a few pieces of batting in there before I hand sew this pincushion up. I really like the way these square corners came out. I like it a little better than the first pincushion I had made. And now all I need to do is add a button to the center. I poured out my buttons, thinking I might choose another color for the center of this pincushion, but after trying some different ones in the center, I went back to that orange. I think that really is my favorite for this little project. It's a lot of fun to use scraps from favorite quilts, tiny scraps that are left over. It's a lot of fun to use them and enjoy the pretty fabrics all the time. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.